to show you what Vietnam looks like. It's long and thin, 1,100 miles long, as they said last week, and really narrow right here in the middle bits. This cordillera of mountains runs down kind of the backbone of Vietnam, and the large coastal plain everywhere you go. Here's the cities I went to. I flew into Hanoi in the north, and then took a tour around this area up here with motorcycles. Humorously enough, this is a central place on it in French there, but this is an old French colonial building that North Vietnamese took over and turned into a prison, and that's one of the prison cells inside. It's pretty gruesome, actually. They've torn, well, not gruesome though, they've torn most of it down or remodeled it, but you can see a prison cell, and there's the guillotine still down there at the end of the hallway, and so it's kind of creepy, right? And then here's a picture of Senator John McCain being saved from ocean waters and then spending the next 6 years of his life in the Hanoi Hilton. So here's the fun part I had. My wife and I thought my wife loved me, but I think she might have been trying to kill me. I'm not sure. I only read the guidebook just a couple of days before I went on the trip because I wanted to surprise myself. And then I was reading along and it said you can take motorcycle tours. And I said, oh, I would think to do that. And she jumped on the bandwagon right away and encouraged me to take a motorcycle tour. You can kill yourself on a motorcycle. People drive like maniacs, but they know what they're doing. I just didn't know it. So we planned out to go from there over here to Han Giang, and way up there, down there, and then down around back here, and back to there. There's no way to go around that truck, and he doesn't care. He's going to, So there's just everywhere you go, there's some danger line. There's potholes in the road that are filled with water and can kill you. There's just dangerous curves, and it's beautiful. And then the road just peters out entirely sometimes, and you're on your own for 20 miles just riding through the dust, and it's really cool. You get kind of the impression that you can just do what you want there. In sort of a nice way, like in America, you're always protected. There's guardrails and rules and stuff. There you can, you're on your own. If you just don't make it, you don't make it, but you had fun trying it.
Later, the kids' checkups were better, and they still didn't like the fluoride varnish. Just got to kind of watch the gag reflex and make sure that they're going to make sure. But we could do something like that. That wasn't too demanding. And then the other thing we could do is we did the questionnaire. So again, that's sort of like you sit down with maybe a nurse here, and she'd ask you, how do you feel? What are your control people? We were really just about keeping the kids entertained. So here I am with tattoos. They love those rub-on tattoo things. So those are a great way to keep the kids entertained. So seafood in abundance. Look at those shrimp, and look what they did with that bell pepper. It's just presentation A+. So taste.
Very long period of time. I just couldn't quite figure out how to go back, with whom, should I just try and go myself? Obviously there was some uneasiness on my part, not knowing what to expect. And so I was a little hesitant at first, but Don and Sandy, having been there, I think, twice before that, put me at ease, and I decided, yeah, I just want to go back. While the war was ugly, boy, the country was just phenomenal. One thing that myself and a couple of the other guys that I was with were able to, I guess, see through the ugliness of the war and what was happening. And being in the Central Highlands, it was very much similar to being in North Vietnam, up around Sapa and all of that. It's very mountainous. They've got mountains that go over 10,000 feet. Maybe 12 would be stretching it, but up in the 11,000 range. And when I was there, we were out in the field basically the whole time. And there were no flat spots, except for those flat spots you basically had to create yourself.